Information is a slippery word. We often say we have information, but only offer indirect evidence of it. When we say we're dealing with information, usually we're dealing with signs. Information technology is therefore about human expressions, impressions and reactions, about signs. Hartley, a pioneer, admitted information was an elastic term, but agreed it has a physical and a social element. Technological change affects signs, not what the technology does. The cannon, the foghorn and now GPS all tell navigators where they are, but technological change affects the skills, costs, effort and relationships involved. Our world is littered with signs, creating an evolving context for present-day living. I set out on an exploration to unearth some principles. Here's something of what I found. What are signs made of? This simple wooden post adequately indicates a route over the Appalachians. Flagging tape is used as a sign by foresters. A yellow ribbon expresses a wish for the safe return of a loved one. A painted rock makes a useful sign, or an arrangement of rocks. Flowers can form signs, welcoming the Tour de France to London. Developments in cast iron led to iron memorials, but they didn't catch on. Card, print and ribbons are all materials used for signs. Even paint on a window communicates, or more elaborate combinations. As long as it's sufficiently durable, the material doesn't matter much. A sign is simply something that stands out, like the posts that guide people and will be seen in the snow. Signs made from treetops direct boats along a channel, but are useless at night. A sign must be perceptible, though some signs are constructed from light. Some shapes advise on surroundings that are otherwise indistinct. Shapes drawn on a substrate form icons. Colour is used in signs. Here, 4 colours distinguish possible conditions in a forest, and a pointer indicates the present state. Different shapes can also indicate different states, or coloured shapes and coloured lights. Foghorns signal with sound when visibility is poor. Door knockers use sound and quiet to signal the presence or absence of a visitor, and like many signs have no defined form. A bottle of bleach has a braille label. The smell of incense is aimed at drawing the attention of the spiritual world. Time is a dimension used in some signs. This buoy is shaped, coloured, has a flashing light, a bell and a radar reflector. Like radar, radio antennas work with invisible radio waves. They're treated as signals because instruments can interact with the radiation to generate a perceptible result. There's also the social element. Occasionally, there's social significance in the material. For instance, a wedding ring is often made of gold, and there's always a cultural connection between the sign maker and the sign reader. An icon, for example, resembles objects both the sign maker and reader recognise. This culturally loaded sign is itself an icon of the pink ribbon signifying support for breast cancer charities. The iconic use of a thermometer relies on the sign reader grasping the sign maker's metaphor. And by forming signs in customary ways, authors convey their feelings. Performative signs don't report on the state of anyone or anything, but attribute it. Passing the start sign and having a number, for example, means you're part of the race. Ritual social events can be performative signs that change someone's social status. The superstitious believe certain artifacts influence the supernatural. Many signs tell moral tales of what can befall the foolhardy. Sometimes the moral tale relates exemplary, heroic behaviour. A sign can require a wide range of cultural references before its significance becomes clear. Of course, a sign is a fabricated expression. Crucially, signs are works of fiction, which may or may not be credible. A sign may express a falsehood, but you may be convinced and might turn back even if the gate does not exist or if there is no flood. William Tell is known for his archery skills, but his trouble started when he ignored a hat on a pole, which earlier a crier announced was a sign of the king's otherwise intangible authority. As a punishment, the governor ordered William to shoot the legendary apple. The hat was a sign of a notion which was undermined by William's dissent. Similarly, a bus ticket is a sign for an otherwise invisible right to make a journey, and coinage is a sign supported by faith in an imperceptible promise. Imperceptible physical states are detected by instruments. The compass, for example, indicates the direction of the Earth's magnetic field. A weather vane signals the wind direction and relates it to the Earth's axes. A windsock also shows the wind direction and gives a hint about its strength. Some states of the world created by people are not evident, so signs warn about these things. Meters of various kinds monitor, record and indicate physical quantities such as flow, pressure and energy consumption. A measuring jug indicates the volume of things according to a chosen scale, and a sundial tells us about a relationship between the Earth and the Sun and couples it to a scale, time. Though the weather affects sundials, so we use clocks to simulate the relationship between the Sun and the Earth in a variety of styles. Some things we treat as signs were not produced by people or their machines. They are not to do with technology, but in the domain of science. Signs produced unconsciously are not really part of technology. I'll ignore unintended products of technology. Technology, I'll assume, is created by design, though it may project states of the world that were not created deliberately. Commonly, signs express something about a specific location, time or object and have to be bound explicitly to make this connection evident. A property like the height of a mountain you can measure, but the name of the mountain is attributed. Sticking a sign on the mountain can secure the attribution. Attaching rosettes announces this is the prized bull. The wristband gives this person an entitlement to visit the Explorama. Attached by a collar, a name tag attributes a name to this cat. A strap label attributes the owner's identity to the suitcase. The cow is attributed a number simply by writing on the cow. The theatre ticket binds the holder to the right to use a particular seat at a particular time, and a seat can be bound to a numeral. A name can be painted on a ship, though it can, with some effort, be changed, thus bindings have different strengths. Putting on a uniform attributes authority, a weak binding relinquished by taking it off after work. Bindings indicated by signs can be fantasies, errors or deceptions. Another form of binding is enclosure. For instance, milk in a can is attributed a trade name, an attribution lost when the milk is out of the can. Enclosure, and hence binding, can itself be indicated by a sign. A boundary formed by a white line binds the players and officials who constitute a football match. Boundaries can also be expressed with stones, and a chart binds one set of signs carrying physical data to another set of signs attributing names. Bindings are connections that create structures from signs. Connected signs can, for instance, define a sequence of actions, or can identify a sequence of stops for a funicular. Here, bindings are indicated by a dotted line and make a structured list. Pictorial signs use juxtaposition to make connections, so geometric shapes are given added significance by their arrangement. These structural arrangements can be quite elaborate, and whatever they're constructed from, paper or electronic logic, they can help make computation less arduous. Perhaps most importantly, the ability to create recognizable structures allowed the development of written signs. Signs are incomplete without their context. The sign intrudes on the context and enables absentees to express their wishes. Here, the sign, reinforced by the railings, instructs you on a route. And this sign, without its context, is puzzling until the context clarifies things. There's a lot more to say about signs, about indirection, about indexing, about redundancy helping us to cope with errors or making our message clear, about how signs address an audience, about devices that help generate signals expressing our desires and intentions, and about how information is expressed using analogies. The main things are, signs have a physical and a social element. There's a freedom to choose the physical element, but a sign is subject to social constraints. Signs lend a physical presence to falsehoods in the metaphysical. Bindings attach labels to things and aid the process we know as computation. Finally, a sign intrudes on its context and allows authorities to influence at a distance. That is, signs, the components of information technology, are untrustworthy political devices.